Well, welcome to Kelowna Now Live. It's Jason Mann with Jim Check, and it's Energized, actually, isn't it?
Well, hey, it's whatever you want it to be. We can go with that. Energized.
Energized.
I was just talking to a couple of my friends as I got back from Calgary. I was out there do we have sound? Everything working? There you go. Look at that. I went to Calgary last Tuesday, and I stayed out there for 4 days. It's a winter wonderland out there.
It's real winter still,
absolutely winter wonderland. It was like 20 below.
And you took your EV.
I took a Tesla.
Yeah.
So when I got back, a couple of my friends like, you took that there? Is that safe? I'm just like, well, first off, safest car in the world. But hey,
who's counting?
Safe, I guess what they're saying safe is it going to like die in the middle of the mountain somewhere and you'll be stranded there without.
Yeah, so you've driven that road a number of times in the last, what has it been now since you've had a Tesla as your primary?
Been driving Tesla now for probably a year and a couple months.
Yeah, okay.
A few months.
So you've done this trip a number of times. In your Tesla, though, is it different? Do you plan a little differently? Is there a different route?
Well, let's just say on the way back, just as an example, typically if I drove there and back, like on the way back, it would typically take me 7.5 hours, right? And I drive about 10K over the speed limit. I usually use cruise or full, in this case, full self-drive. Mm-hmm. But I was home in 7 hours.
Okay. And did you need to stop for charging along the way?
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does that look like?
What does it look like? They got superchargers.
How long does it take? How long are you sitting there for?
So we got a picture here. If the girls are ready there. A picture of Cranbrook. No, this is Golden, actually. Can we show the wintry one?
And while they're pulling that up.
No.
Well,
the other one. One of three. This one. There you go. So that's what it looked like in Canmore. I stopped in Canmore. Just outside of Calgary, because when I left Calgary in the morning, I didn't have a full charge because I knew I was going to charge in Canmore. So I left downtown Calgary, and around 9:30 I left downtown Calgary without a full charge, and drove to Canmore. Got to Canmore. I charged about 80% because it goes fast. Like a battery charges from 0 to 80 really quickly, right? It wasn't at 0 though, but like say 20 to 80 really quick. And it's the last 20% it takes.
Is it like 5 minutes or is it 20?
I walked over to the Subway, which was, like just in that strip there. Had a 6-inch sub, ate the sub, went back, got in the car and left.
Okay.
So whatever long that takes. Takes that Subway artist a few minutes to make that sub. 20 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
I guess. Eat the sub, and off you go.
Now, you've done this trip a couple of times in the past, but being minus 20, did that affect your performance? Did it change your plans?
It affected my performance because I only had a spring jacket. So being outside the car was a lot less desirable for sure. But I didn't really notice anything different in the car other than I used a lot of washer fluid so it was like minus 20 when I left Calgary. And then it was kind of like cold and slushy. The roads were kind of getting a little like loose, I guess, like slushy. And I was using a lot of washer fluid. I had to buy new washer fluid in Golden. But, it's an all-wheel drive car, winter tires on it.
But you made it. You made it back.
I didn't really notice any, I'm not one of those people that are noticing every click or whatever. But I made it to Golden with, I think, 30% still left on the thing. Mm-hmm. Again, in Golden, I went into the gas station at Tim Hortons. It's a busy gas station at Tim Hortons in Golden. It's like super busy. Plugged in, went in there, used the washroom, bought myself some energy for myself, Red Bull. Red Bull keeps you awake. Red Bull gives you wings. And then went out in the car. I think checked my email. I think I was on the road in 20 or so minutes. And there you go.
But your friends were amazed you made it back safely? Or some were?
Yeah. So actually, I didn't do a long charge in Golden. I did stop in Revelstoke because I wanted to eat in Revelstoke because there's a great restaurant in Revelstoke. Mm. Yeah, a really nice restaurant.
Which one? What is it? Do you know?
It's called Emo. It's right by the supercharger in downtown Revelstoke. Really good. Yeah.
Worth checking out.
Yeah, so I did a charge there. It actually works better to do quick, fast charges than it is to do sit there and do a full charge. So you can do quicker charges. And obviously I made it home in 7 hours, so they were quick stops everywhere, right? So
Enough to stretch your legs, get a coffee or whatever you need.
It actually breaks the trip up too, right? You know, and then cost-wise, I think maybe energy is more expensive in Alberta for sure. But the supercharger is 60 cents a kilowatt hour.
Okay.
Whereas in BC, you're looking at about 40 cents a kilowatt
So
hour.
what was it to top things up from, what was it in Canmore, 20% or whatever you were at, 30%?
You know what? I can't even remember. Like, it's in the $12 to $20 range when you do a charge, depending on how much you take, obviously.
Yeah.
Something like that. A lot cheaper than when I used to drive my truck. My truck there and back, about the same time. But I'd stop for, lunch. I'd stop for, lunch, usually for about an hour somewhere. It'd be $500 if I didn't drive around in Calgary. If I drove around in Calgary, like I did, I was there for a week with mine. It'd probably be like closer to $7, because in town that diesel burns a lot of fuel. Yeah. So a lot cheaper. Like I'd say probably in the neighborhood of like under $50 for the Tesla there and back and driving around for 4 or 5 days, and versus like $50 versus $5 to $700. Do you know what I mean? That much difference. That's huge.
Yeah. Did you want to show any of these videos?
Yeah, let's take a look at the. We'll take a look at all three of them again. The Canmore one. No, not that one. It's like a lottery. It's yikes, right? Like it was definitely taking a lot of road abuse, right?
Yeah.
It was pretty mucky out there.
Yeah.
And then we got another one with Canmore one, the snow one. Let's see if we get this one. Look at that. So look how beautiful Canmore is.
Yeah, it's
right?
nice.
It's like a postcard, right? So the supercharger in Canmore is at the Boston Pizza. So you got Boston Pizza at one end, and you got Subway, and I think there's a couple other.
Nothing like road pizza. Pizza.
Different food items there, and then I don't have a picture of the one in Revelstoke, but there's a couple in Revelstoke. There's one, I think, on the left side of the highway, and one on the right side. It depends on which side of the highway you're coming on. But there's one in town and one just where all the motels are, stuff like that. So they typically are in good places where there's restaurants and stuff like that, right? So you can go grab yourself something to eat. Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I use full self-drive most of the time, which was nice because that car I was driving had full self-drive in it. My particular Tesla does not, but this one I was driving a Model X, and it is it's the biggest one of the Teslas. It's like a 7-passenger SUV kind of thing, and it's big. It feels big and heavy and truckish almost, right? Like really solid. Whereas my 3 feels more sporty, light, and definitely not as luxurious as that X. But yeah, no, it was good. It was a great test for it, and people that are worried about it in the wintertime. I mean, it's I would say that you might get less range because it's colder. I didn't really notice it, but cars warm up fast. That's the really big plus in a Tesla. Like, I could, when it was cold here, I could run that thing for 10-15 minutes and it still wouldn't be blowing hot air, right? Turn that Tesla on, you got hot air all immediately.
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Just because it's actually a heater, right? As opposed to they're taking the heat off the engine, right?
Yeah.
Because the engine has to warm up in a big diesel truck, right? Because you're pulling the heat off the engine, right? Yeah. So yeah, lots of washer fluid though. Went through a lot. Got a rock chip.
No.
Yeah, welcome to Alberta. You can't even buy windshield insurance in Alberta. You can get it here in BC, but and Tesla windshields are not cheap.
Oh boy.
But if you have a rock chip and you have ICBC like I do, then the rock chips are free.
There you go.
If you claim it through your insurance,
right?
Which and it doesn't cost you anything on your insurance. There's a little tip for you. If you got a rock chip, go do it. If you got ICBC insurance, you got comprehensive. It's free.
Well, it's better than having spider cracks all through your window, making it more dangerous for drivers.
You know what?
Right?
It's the sad thing is, most of the time they start with a chip, and people ignore them, and then they become, and they can't fix them, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's just that temperature change, like on a hot day, cold day, or whatever, and then they just.
So if you get a chip, do you do the little fix it? Go to the.
Well, that's what I just did.
Oh yeah.
That's what I said. So, so I went to the one on Enterprise. Can't remember the name of it now. Competition class, maybe. I don't know.
They just fill it with a little epoxy or whatever.
So if you pay for it, it's $35 a chip. If you go through ICBC, I think they charge ICBC $75. But you don't pay anything,
right?
Because they just claim it through your ICBC insurance.
Right.
And there's no no charge to your insurance, right? So
Got it.
like you don't have to pay deductible, or it doesn't affect your insurance. So, but ICBC wins because they're not replacing a $3,000 windshield,
Yeah.
right?
Well, then that's what I thought you'd done.
Replace the windshield?
Yeah.
No, it's a little chip.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes it.
That's what I'm saying. Fix it. Like you'll see it maybe, just like you can kind of see them, but it doesn't spread, so it's going to stay the size. Like it was smaller.
A little
than
chip or whatever, a little pock.
Yeah, no, I guess in Alberta they sand the roads with gravel. Or I think BC they use more sand. I don't know. Like it's almost like honestly, you can't get. Imagine you could if you paid enough for it, but most people's windshields in Alberta don't look that good. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So that's a
Rocks.
Tesla road trip from Kelowna to Calgary
In 20 below.
in 20 below, and
Made it 7 hours. And again, driving like maybe 10K over the speed limit. Definitely not a speed demon, right? And I set it. I have actually a setting in the car so you can set it so it doesn't go over 10K. Like it actually will lock you out there, right? So you can do all kinds of settings in there. But sometimes when you wander on it. I mean, obviously, if you're going to pass somebody, you're going to
want to punch it a little. No sense
And
hanging out in the left lane like that.
If you look down, like, whoops. That was a moment.
I don't know. I think the risk reward on that, going a little extra fast just to get out of that oncoming
Do you
traffic.
remember that game Frogger?
Yeah.
It's that fast. It's definitely like I've driven some cars. I don't know if I should use names, but I've driven some Japanese automaker cars. We get out there and you step on it and you're just like, I stepped on it. Like, what's happening? And there's this big pause and you're just like, there's cars coming. Are we going or what? And then it just slowly picks up. You're just like, I'm going to go back in behind. I'll just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely need, it's a safety factor too. Like if you don't have the power to pass, then best not to take a chance.
100%.
Just stay back and wait for a passing lane, right? Like if you don't have that ability to get in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, it was a great trip. Highly recommended. Calgary's a great place too. Went to Launchpad.
Vibrant.
Launchpad.
Oh, golf?
Yeah.
It's like Top Golf?
And my daughter was there and she broke my driver.
Oh.
She didn't hit anything. It just snapped. For some reason, it snapped. Anyway, that's enough about that. Again, to all those people that didn't think that Tesla would make it there and back, simple answer is it did.
It did. All right.
There you go. Many times, too. All right.
Until the next episode.
Thanks for watching Kelowna Now.